I'm sorry, it pierces the imperial veil. I said pieces. It pierces the imperial veil to be where we are today. We talked about the crystal trees. We talked about how the trees were destroyed. We talked about um, archons. We discussed so much history. History is important for us to know. All right. We're going to talk about the war between the dragon and the lion. All right. All you brothers and sisters who are deep into this Hebrew Israelite, talking about worshiping Yahweh, you have to understand that Yahweh is our enemy. All right. Yahweh is our enemy. And Yahweh came with a whole host of other beings from other parts of this universe to fight against us. Even some of our own turned against us. Okay, as it is still happening today, many of our own have turned against us. We have to understand that this battle is something that we have to end. Knowledge is the first and foremost resource that will help you to win a battle. Okay, knowledge is a resource, and we're going to get into this knowledge. Okay, you must understand that this was a narcissistic war that took place. Okay, Yahweh brought himself to this realm, to this planet, to this galaxy, to the star system, because he was seeking out planetary bodies so that they may worship him. They may worship an external God. Okay. We, the dragon beings, and others who were here, this is after the archons that Cain had because this is a conglomerate. The archons worked right along with Yahweh, which is Yahweh was a reptilian king, a Chitauri reptilian king, and the archons worked directly with Yahweh as they affected the minds of the once lived Titans, and everything came down to this final war. Okay. The dragon beings, who we are, the codex, the cosmic codex is within us. This is why they're so interested in us, because we carry the cosmic codex. We're the beings who have the ability to link directly into the cosmos. We are the beings who literally can walk in the spirit and the physical at the same time. Yahweh, who calls himself the Lion of Judah, what he saw was that he wanted that codex. All right. The dragon beings carried a direct connection with the Great Mother's eternal flame. He wanted that. All right. We embody infinite creation, wisdom, sovereignty. We didn't need a priest. Neither did we need an external God. All right. And to Yahweh, who's an imperial.
Give it a minute. Give it a minute. This is let y'all know about what really happened. Hopefully some of the people that stuck in religion and also Hebrew Israelites who realize that they are the Most High. They sitting quoting and stuff like that is the enemy's Most High. We're not supposed to be serving anyone because we kicked their Most High out of the place, and then he came down here on a level after this got taken to a physical realm, because this was not a physical realm, was this complete spiritual. We still had the power to go through spiritual and physical, and we still have that in us. We just have to awaken this in us. Now the lion, that's why I stopped using lion, that's why I stopped calling it Mr. News and the Lions Den. I switched it to Mr. News and the Dragons Den, because we have the code, the dragon code in us. That's why we are the dragon people. We are the primordial beings. We existed for anything else existed. That's why I remember exist in you. So this is breaking down what the enemy did, who they really are, who we got to start understanding who are the Talmud are, and a whole lot of other people, right? And how they came here to destroy, divide, and conquer. I don't even know why this thing's acting like this right now. Probably because they don't want y'all to know about this stuff. It shouldn't even be acting like this. It shouldn't be acting like this at all. But anyhow, let me check something real quick just to see something. Make sure there's only one thing here. Yeah, so I don't know what's doing it right now. I think they trying to stop this because they upset. So hold on, I got y'all. I'm gonna go like this for a second. Right, hold on. See that. All right, let's go back to it. See, they don't want y'all to know the stuff I've been showing y'all. I'm telling y'all. That's what that whole thing's all about. Right?
We're the beings who literally can, what he saw.
Oh, wow. Hold on, y'all. It seems like they gonna keep on trying. Go like that. Yeah, they gonna keep trying. Oh wow! So now they mess with my. Hold on, y'all. they are literally messing with my thing. Hold on. Whoa. Alright, how can I take this down? Alright, I figured out something. Goodness gracious. Alright. Alright, hold on, y'all. They mess up my channel. Alright, so see that makes sense. Okay. Here we go. Alright. I'm gonna talk to you this way. See this. Hope it didn't do some. I think it did. Yeah. It did. Come on now. Hold on, you gotta be patient with me now at this point, because they messing with it. All right. They don't want y'all to know this, so y'all need to pay attention to this. And two other videos after this, need to pay attention to
what it was like to perform with DMX.
X all them. This is like the third time.
We are the beings who literally can We're the beings who literally can. Yahweh, who calls himself the Lion of Judah, what he saw was that he wanted that codex. All right. The dragon beings carried that eternal flame. He wanted that. Was sovereignty. We didn't. All right. Usurper. This was his greatest threat, to see a planetary body full of beings who knew that they were gods, and he couldn't rule over them. So many different planets right now are under the rule of Yahweh. So the lion represents imperialism, okay? While the dragon represents royalty. Imperialism and royalty completely different. And that's when we start talking about sovereignty. We, as original beings, are sovereign beings. But you have brothers and sisters who are under this direct threat, this direct attack. All right? Who they're believing in this Jesus that never existed. They believe in this Peter and Paul and Matthew that never existed. This Moses that never existed. And then some brothers and sisters try to say, well, the Bible means this and it means this and this. It has nothing to do with us. We are protectors of the cosmic codex. We're protectors of this realm. We hold that information within us, okay? We're the masters of sound. We're the masters of portals. Okay.
Vibration.
We're part of a hub of stargates that our planet is connected to. Okay. And we are connected to multiple galaxies, and we could travel. And this is something that Yahweh wanted to rule over. And if you notice, they literally the followers or the pawns of Yahweh, which is all these other inorganic beings, as well as some of our original people. They want to hold on to these crystals because they know what power the crystals give to us as the original beings. Okay. So Yahweh traveled from the Orion's belt. Okay, he traveled from the Orion's belt to attack us. Yahweh is the demiurge. And we talked about the Archons. He already had help from the Archons. We know about the Chitauri as well as the Tamahu. All right. They're all a part of the imperialism. He also had the seraphim and the rebel angels, who you call Angel Michael, Angel Gabriel. All right, he had those beings with him to help fight against us. So many brothers and sisters talk about, I call on Angel Michael, Angel Gabriel. You didn't call them on them because they are our
Facts.
enemies.
And now you got folks talking about Tron. That's the same motherfucking beings.
These beings
that people calling on. Wrong names by design in that book. Give you their story instead of our story and put them in our place instead of us being in our place in that book. And then when you find out you are the people or something, not exactly what they say you are, give you the wrong name by design, got you calling yourself Hebrews, Israelites, so that means you're Greek or Roman. In other words, you're white, you're pale face, and that's not what you are, right? Getting you to claim something that you're not. You got to start understanding you are way better than that, than anything in that book. Yeah, the book does talk about some of your genetics, just like the Jacob's letter is actually about some of your genetics. It's not talking about what you think it's talking about. Okay, and it's actually very deep in detail. They tricked y'all in a lot of many ways. Instead of speaking to y'all in parallels, they spoke to y'all in riddles. That's why I had to keep telling y'all it's a decoded book, and I always stick and stand. Furthermore, unless you have become a scholar, you shouldn't even be reading that book. You need to read older books where they flat out straight tell you the truth. They don't beat around the bush. They don't speak in riddles. They just straight out tell you they have omissions of fallen ones admitting to their crime and what they did. They turn around and tell you that they still want you to follow their crime and what they did. Come on now, you got to start understanding what's really going on. Okay, also they had help from the bad Anunnaki, because there's a bad side to everything. All right, and they were the draconian Anunnaki race. That's where Enki and all those guys come from. Anu and all those guys y'all pray so much come from. They come from that bad side. All right, and they did stuff. Now he's gonna say we Anunnaki, but when you say that, that's the right range of thing, because just like the Talmud, they're from Anunnaki and they're bad. You might as well just say angels, except take out the A word, because that means pagan. But you just say all the folks that were there. Okay. All the beings we created, say it like that. That wasn't what they want to call so-called heaven, because that's also a wrong name by design. When we was also, just say, we was all up in pure ether, all up in pure source, pure essence of source, to be purely correct. All right, in that particular realm that we're dragging and pulling this place back to right now. All right, and have been for a while now. When we created them there as one, because we are one, and they were outside of the one, all right, but they could live because they were attached to the one. But when they violated, we kicked them out and detached them from the one. And because we are all pieces of the one, because we is only one being, and we are all one, we are collective. The collective makes the one. So they attacked us on a realm that we created, and we was going in throughout different places, creating a whole bunch of different planets. We created all the planets. We created every single realm. We created everything that was good, even the ones that was now bad that was good at one point. And we're gonna make sure we turn everything back to where it was before they messed up everything up. They didn't create life. They interrupted life and inverted life. They inverted everything we done. And we're on inverting it. We're putting it back to where it's supposed to be. We're changing it back. That's what has been happening. So you got to understand, you are attached to the cosmos. Why? Because you made the cosmos. You attached every single planet. Why? Because you made them all. You attached every district because you made them. Every dimension you attached to. Why? Because you made them. You control every single piece of everything, especially in the matrix, and that's what you're in right now. That's why there's many different multiple dimensions of you and different dimensions. You're many places, but at the same time, remember, this is the matrix. The matrix is something that is not really real. It feels real, it seems real. There's something that feels real, but it's not real. But it seems real, but it's not. Described by one of our great teachers. All right. We are operating from the outside of all this. We already won this battle. So what are we doing? We're ending the mission that we already ended a long time ago, because somebody kept running the time back. Somebody kept time traveling backwards to try to get things going in their favor, and it doesn't work, and it works. But this time, we're not even going to let them raise their Messiah, because their Messiah can't save himself anyway. The Messiah is the devil. That the name that a lot of these Hebrews likes calling on, y'all don't realize y'all calling on the devil. If you want the real name and you don't praise anybody, we don't praise anybody, because that in itself is wrong. It's pagan. It goes against what we supposed to stand for. When you praise anything, anyone, you give your power away. You're supposed to hold on or harness your power, not to control your power. Your power is connected to every single thing inside this planet, all other planets. Every object that is on this planet, your power is connected to. You can literally, if you wanted to, if you fully practice, pick up with your mind. You can bend anything with your mind, including reality. You can walk through walls. You can levitate, fly, the whole 9 yards. 999 abilities and counting. Superman, the whole 9 yards. That's you. You ever, except they downplayed you in all the movies. Point blank, facts. Stop calling yourself all these names. And then when we even fell, we were still doing certain ceremonies, which I'm gonna show you a whole bunch of black Indians in America before the ships even ever came here. And when they did come here with their little video recording, and they didn't even have technology to record, we let them use our cameras to record us dancing around the fire, doing the dances that you see a lot of these rappers do in their dances, such as Crip Rockin'. That ain't nothing but a fucking dance that we did around the fire. And that's a ceremony dance. So you're about to see that we've been here in America. For all the folks talking about asking people where you from, and they say American, you know, so where you from? Stop asking that. America's Atlantis. America's Tartaria. America was Temeria. America is the key. Because we are the key. We are the source. We are the code. We're all that mixed in one. Because we are the thing y'all want to call God. We don't use the G word though, because it's pagan. We are it. We exist because we exist. We existed from the beginning because we simply existed from the beginning. We were never created. Y'all were created. Y'all are the creation. Y'all, the creation that we created, turned against us in the heavens, and we booted you out along with your daddy because you took his side, and then you turned around, and because of you knew you'd die because you was not connected to us anymore. You come on a lower level, on a different spiritual level, found loophole because they make it physical from spiritual. That's what your mommy did. And she, hate to say it, but your mama was family. We cut her off too. She know what she did. This has been a dragon against dragon war. And then everything that we made, she twisted and then freaking made all physical, inverted the whole fucking realm to make this whole place physical, inverted it so that we got to be trapped in the physical realm, and we still had our abilities in the physical realm. That's why we keep on wiping all down. And then over 200 wars whooping that ass. Y'all beat us with paper and a pen from a language we didn't understand. Wrote us out of reality because y'all couldn't do it a mono. Y'all couldn't do it. Y'all like to say man to man, but that wouldn't be correct because we not human. Okay, that is a term for human means sub. You're sub something. You're almost like something, but you're not. Okay, that's what it means. That's why we agree when y'all say y'all not human. Yep, we not human, but y'all get mad when we say no, y'all are human. No, the fuck we ain't. We ain't human. We're not sub. Sub is a creation. We're not created. We are original. We exist before any planet ever existed, before any dimension existed. We already was. We are the ones that made the noise. We are the one that made the vibration. Because once you vibration, we are the ones that made the sound. We are the spirit that went across all the lands and made everything. And then decided to come in out of and in this matrix that was the spiritual reality and create a whole bunch of other planets all over the place. And some woman, female dragon, got mad because her mother didn't accept her. Tiamat didn't want to accept one of her daughters, and then fucking inverted shit to prove that she should have been appreciated and expressed herself, and took the wrong path and got all these other things that we had made, and then these other things created a whole bunch of other different things. After we made things ugly, because they were beautiful at one point, we turned them ugly too as punishment, and they started creating a whole bunch of other shit, including a lot of you people that is on planet, you want to call it planet Earth, and I'm sorry, but y'all ain't even supposed to be here. Y'all were brought here. Native means that you were brought here. You're not from here. You are just on the land. You see, people think, Europe was white. No, Europe was not white. Europe was all black. They ain't from here. They came here on rowboats. Y'all say slave ships. What slave ships? Wasn't no slave ships around that time. So that's a bald-faced lie. They enslaved everybody on the land that they found them at. And then I'll say, we found this we found this land. No, nigga, you came to a land that was already people existed, and this land rightfully belonged to them. And then when we helped you survive after the great chief told us to let y'all starve, we should have listened to him. The Moors should have listened. They didn't listen because they hated us anyway, and they fucking helped y'all fucking take showers and told y'all to clean yourself up, and y'all was down from the black bubonic plague from not cleaning y'all asses. And y'all still was thinking we had to further teach y'all how to clean even better than that. Because the Moors didn't do a great job cleaning themselves. Because they were not of a king lineage. They were not royalty. They were peasants. And they were not related to us. They weren't related to y'all pappies. In fact, the Moors helped create all these other beings. So a lot of this stuff is explaining that a lot of the Israelites and so many people, y'all are really serving their daddy instead of realizing that you are the top daddy. You the top daddy of it all, and the mama of it all too. And they fucking turned their back on you in a higher place that we taking this place to, and have been already. Even the Science of the News had reported this shit some months back. And now y'all up here crying, speaking out about some of y'all tragedies that shouldn't happen against our people. And some of our people sit up there and claim and say, call them certain names and shouldn't be calling themselves. Now, he's going to make a mistake, this brother, and say, see, he doesn't, I should say like this. It's a small mistake because he doesn't differentiate. When you say Anunnaki, you have to differentiate. Anunnaki is a whole wide range of things. The Temu are white people. Huh? That's what Mr. J is. That wasn't his real name. His real name was Zeus. You know what I'm saying? But fucking, he's the Tamu. That's where they got the religion for them to praise him. But really, Zeus actually stands for a whole nother name, which is really Enlil. That's Enki's fucking brother. So you know what I'm saying? Enlil was a black dude, but they paint him white because they got to hide behind the white hand. The black hand hides behind the white hand. That's why I told you they don't. Oh, these black fucking aliens. Then y'all been knew about them. They're from the fucking planet that represents the devil. The planet that we told you stands for Satan. That's where they've been come from. Saturn stands for Satan. We named it that for a reason. Let y'all know that's where the devil been hiding at. That's where his home is at. They've been traveling back and forth telling y'all what to do. Now y'all want people to bow down to him as the white fallen one y'all released on this planet as well. Disappeared the mist and fly. Disappeared the mist once y'all released them. And then turn around and got the violence. His spirit is all around the earth pushing more violence. That's why the world is about. That's why World War III is about to happen. And y'all don't know where he at. He's all around, and he's encouraging violence because y'all cannot. Y'all don't have what it takes to resist the devil, and that devil's working, getting y'all to do more evil shit. Because what he's doing and getting y'all to do is to speed up to do evil shit to have World War III, so that the big pappy. Y'all big pappy can come in here and try to wage war because he wants people to bow down. And we not bowing down to him. We didn't do it before, and we not going to do it this time. And furthermore, we didn't even try to let y'all at all get him in here. But we ready. And we going to keep preparing. That's why y'all got to keep on practicing y'all abilities and everything, too. Y'all got to keep harnessing y'all power. Y'all got to keep tapping in to the energy all around you, because the energy all around you is attached to you. In fact, there's part of what comes from what they call the black sun. But the black sun, or people want to also say the light ball, the source, that's you. You are outside of all this. It's like a video game. You stuck portions of yourself in the game, but it can't be counted because there's too many of portions that you stuck in the game, so you can't put a number on it. They're like grains of salt, grains of sand. That's what the book tell you, all over the place. We're everywhere, all four corners. We exist all over the world. You the X-Men. You all that. And Tamu, that's one of the names. That's why they call the Tamuians. Their king, Mr. J. Freaking, you want to call any other name you want to call them. It's all the same motherfucking mother. It's all the same motherfuckers and his brothers and his cousins, the ones we kicked out and detached from us, who are now leeching off of us through the rest of all of his creations, because they leech off our energy. That's what they do. Those are also what you call the archons. They leech off your energy through all these other beings doing stuff on this planet, especially when they try to get it done towards you. And this is why you see a lot of kids, female and male and women, all types of nationalities, that's apparent. We already know what's happening to them. You know the government's doing what they're doing.
It's in the Bible are literally our enemies. Angel Michael, Angel Gabriel, Yahweh, Jehovah, they're all our enemies. Okay, so he had Saturnarian lords. Also, they had their created beings, which are the white people, which are the name on this the Tamahu. And they had Shatari, which are the Africans, all right, which they have set up base on our planet to watch, to observe, to try to control us. Okay. And then you had priests, kings, and bloodlines who were rewarded for serving the empire, which were a part of us. They were rewarded. I don't know what they were rewarded, but they betrayed the Great Mother in exchange for false thrones of power. All right.
Yeah. Those are the ones
and
that took on the
many of today's royal and imperial families still trace back to these collaborators. Okay.
The ones that turned on the Great Mother was actually some of our people. And hold on, they decided to go to the wrong path. And so they're still on the wrong path, and now they're part of them. They ain't with us anymore. Okay? But that's what they decided. They weren't just the kings. There were some women that did this too. Went against the Great Mother. They shouldn't have did that. That was our demise. When that happened, that was our demise. We should have stuck with the Great Mother. We should have stuck with the source energy, the source code. That's what we are anyway. You deny oneself, you're denying yourself. It doesn't make sense. Oh, here they go messing with stuff again. All right, hold on here. All right, hold on 1 second. I got you. I got y'all. They're throwing us off and on because they're trying to stop this. They don't want y'all to hear this. They legit don't want y'all to hear this. They want to do this.
Trade the Great Mother in exchange for false thrones of power. All right, imperial families still trace back to these collaborators. Okay, you have to understand the war that took place that brought us to where we are right now. And we're exposing all this. And the reason why we're exposing this is because it has to happen so that we can be able to advance, so that we can bring this war to an end, because they're still warring against us. Now, this is a different type of war. All right, this is a different type of war. Yahweh is long gone, but all of the followers of Yahweh, the bloodline of Yahweh is still here. Okay, so Yahweh, who's known as a storm god or a war god, is all about control, law, jealousy, conquest. All right. So he doesn't come from a central sun lineage, but from an outer planetary off-world system. Like I said, he comes from the Orion system. All right. His whole ordeal was to conquer planetary bodies, realms, to get the original beings of realms to worship him. You gotta understand that's a lot of energy. So he needs the energy of beings to be given to him. That's this whole thing of God. And brothers and sisters don't understand that this whole God thing, that
there's stuff that they were pushing. Now, what you got to understand too is that all these other planets that he has conquered, right? Well, truth be told, now at this point, he's not in charge of other planets anymore because no planet has been free. This is the last one to be free. We're about to free. We are freeing ourselves, right? But because we are different places fighting. That's why you see all these flashes in the sky. That's us fighting against all the fallen ones, so they have to go. All right, but on a different dimension, because the dimensions are coming together, you're starting to see some things. That's the real reason why you're starting to see some things. If you're actually aware, if you're not aware, then you miss it. People are catching it now, and they are showing it. But anyhow, and some of these guys, a lot of these planets, these beings on the planets were good. But somebody came in and did the invasion, the same invasion plan, just like here, because those other beings, who some are still have not been joined into them, some unfortunately have, just like on this planet, some of y'all joined y'all families to them. So, by sleeping with them and having kids with them. And then didn't disown the kid and didn't disown them. You're still attached to it. So, yeah, that's what you're doing. But, those people got to be free because he's been sucking all that energy as much as he can to get any energy he can from source. All those other beings that are good, that have not been joined onto them, has source in them. They are attached to source, and that's why he did it, to leech off the energy. Not just for him, for all his co-partners, which is so many, too many of them. A whole lot, bro. There's so many different nationality of different of those beings that are, what you say, and living in the planet, and some living off the planet, living off world on different planets that are near you, right? The 12 planets they tell you about, they don't tell you about all the other planets that are here. But that's another story. We showed y'all the map. All right. But they control the beings that they made, who are what? On this planet around you. All different nationalities. And that's, they're going to be gone soon anyway. But who you think, of course, now when they lose them, they don't have no power to control us. Well, a lot of us are waking up. For those who are still waking up, some of us are woke. And we keep still learning because actually we're remembering, because we have forgotten. All right, and some of this is going to show you some of the ways that they did it once we get to a certain point on the next video, how they do it, besides the golden apple, which was a device to help you confuse people and help them, make them forget who they were. So, but they had to use something besides the device. They had to come up with something besides a device. And that deal they made with Enki. Okay, they made that deal with Enki. They made that deal with Enlil. All their co-partners all made the deal together, confederate against you. All right, and the Moors made that deal about jealousy of you. And so when the Moors came here, it wasn't just, at first they wanted help when they was fighting against those, the bad side of the Anunnaki, Draconians, reptilian race, because that's the bad side. All right. But then they got down with them after a while. Some of them, you know what I'm saying? Y'all talking about Mars. Planet Mars is not Planet Mars. Planet Mars is Planet Moors. That's where they're from. They're from Planet Moors, and it's not told. But they can't go back there because they have to be destroyed because they shouldn't have came here. That's another story. But they're all gonna be gone. And I told y'all how many different types there were. 3 videos that were for hours long, at least 2-3 hours long each video. I think it was 6 videos That was way back, and I don't know if that channel exists anymore because they got rid of so many of my channels. And now I have a lot of channels. I still got a lot of backup channels, just don't use them, just in case. But you already know that I had a whole lot of channels before they got deleted, to the point that Raptor News had to tell y'all about my other channel that nobody knew about to get me up back going again. They was trying to get me out of there because all the truth I've been telling y'all. But let's keep
going. A part of is an evil scheme, and even Yahweh's spirit is being charged up every time someone say thank you God, because he changed his name to God. He went from Yahweh to Jehovah to Allah to God. See, people don't understand what they're doing. All right. Yahweh resembles Baal, who was a storm god who defeated the Leviathan, the dragon of the deep. All right. He's known as the Dragon Slayer. All right. And his role is in the part of other Orion invader groups. They're described as a reptilian type or Tamahu overseers. Okay. There are scriptures that hint to Yahweh. Job 38:7 mentions the morning star sings together, indicating Yahweh arrived among other sons of God or starborn beings. His arrival often described with clouds, fire, thunder, the marks of a craft or dimensional entry, not natural earth power. I'm pretty sure we've seen this before. Yahweh's army coming and checking in, make sure that everything is in alignment. Yeah, we are the Anunnaki.
So he didn't have natural power. Like we have natural abilities. We have 999 abilities and counting that we need to learn how to harness and practice, right? He and his crew, the bad side of the Anunnaki, Draconian reptilian race, shapeshifters that can look like one of you but ain't one of you. All right, the big hints that there's angels that you don't even know you're entertaining. Angels is actually a pagan word. It means that they'll fall on us, that y'all have kicked out, that will come to this planet and you won't even know you're entertaining. Why? Because they can look just like you. They're shapeshifters. All right. And what they do, they had invaded this planet and used a weapon of renown. What is that? It's a nuke. What does that cause? It causes planets to smash and asteroids to smash into planets. Y'all wondered how he destroyed Tiamat, the so-called forgotten planet, which is hell in itself. She represents the pieces of the dragon that fell to the earth, because a lot of the rock fell to the earth. Okay? That's when they inverted stuff and made it physical. But that's another story. That's going to bring you to a whole nother deep, way deep. And I'm just trying to get y'all to understand this right now. So
I can remember this, brothers and sisters. We have a war to fight. Yahweh is not our friend. Yahweh is going to work to keep, or his lineage is going to work to keep things in order that they desire, and not the nature of earth or Kai, however you may say it. So it appears that Yahweh is a part of the Orion group of beings who spread imperialism and control through law, hierarchy, and fear. That's why they say the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. They're talking about Yahweh. Okay. Yahweh appears to be a part of, he opposed the dragon servant beings, Lyra, Sirius, star system lineages. He replaced the serpent.
Now, what wisdom were they talking about? Because you have the light side of wisdom and you have a dark side of wisdom. That's why they make Star Wars. He have chosen the wrong path. You have the right path and you have the wrong path. You have the right side of wisdom, which we could go by the right side of wisdom, which is dealing with source, because we know we are literally attached to source. We are literally pieces of source. We are literally source combined together. We are literally one. We are collective. We think as we should take care of everybody, because everybody that our people is attached to source. So you got to take care of source, right? We want peace and harmony for everybody, because that's what source would want for everybody. But some people didn't want peace and harmony. They want to try to extract peace and harmony, everlasting life, by force from source. And since they couldn't get that and they got kicked out, they want to try to extract it from source beings, because they're not attached to source. And that's why they did the stuff that they did. And a lot of people that's in the masses, which are, y'all call them the WT people, but a lot of these outside nations, they don't realize that the people that are in office in America, not just in America, a lot of other countries, they're not. Now, we know we're human because we are primordial beings, all right? These humans don't understand that these things, these beings in office are not human. And these beings in office are definitely not us. This is why things chaotic. Trump is not human. A lot of these folks ain't human that's in office. That's why things are the way they are. They're going off the script of their daddy. Their lineage is of their daddy's lineage. Even in your Christian books, it tell you that your government will start taking over, will start acting like who? The Antichrist. Why is the Antichrist? Because we have the consciousness. It's a consciousness, not a person. And the C word is actually wrong. They gave y'all the wrong expression on purpose. It's like the one of the prophets, one of the teachers, because he wasn't a prophet, one of the teachers, because there's many of us that knew all the same thing and did greater things than that teacher. But the one they want to praise and give y'all the wrong name on purpose to trick y'all to serve their daddy, the real name was hold on, man. What was it again? It was higher. But we don't worship nobody that serves. Don't go praising and praying to nobody. Ain't supposed to pray to nobody, because that's how you give your power away. You're supposed to keep your power. All right. We use the power to fight back. But we don't need to. Right now, it's time to build up your power. It's time to practice. Get that practice on. But this is showing you how these demons, why they did it.
Sovereignty with lion imperialism. His energy feeds on worship, obedience.
Now look, Lion of Judah. That's why I told y'all stop using the lion. That's why I call it Mr. News and the Dragon's Den. I don't call it the Lion's Den no more, because the lion is a symbol of Zeus, the devil. The YHW that y'all was talking about. That's the devil. That's one of the devil's name. That's the symbol of him. Imperialism, which means to conquer, to go take something that's not yours, to try to pick on somebody that you think will be an easy person to conquer. A bully, a narcissist. This is where that comes from. A lot of females are attacking the male counterpart of them, don't realizing that the part you're attacking is, you got to stop saying just one thing. You need to specify that you're going against the specific thing that they have, I forgot y'all call it, but the thing they put in place is not from your men. It is from their people, but their people are taking it from who? Their daddy. They think their daddy's still alive. Their daddy's dead.
Like cosmic search, which empowers sovereignty. You gotta understand. All right. So you gotta understand that Yahweh, after he and the Archons came together, and they realized that it's going to take a while, but they worked at destroying the powerful facets of this realm so that he could come and take over. Okay. I don't know what he could have offered the Archons, but that's something else. Okay. Yahweh is all a part of imperial law, control systems, conquest through fear, storm, fire, appearances. Okay? The dragon bloodline, on the other hand, okay, Lyra, Sirius, this galactic core, all right, we alpha beings, are all about royalty, freedom, crystalline power, cosmic wisdom. See, there's a big difference between cosmic wisdom and controlled education. All right. In short, Yahweh is an Orion invader deity. All right. Tied to a Regal's warlike system who came here, this planet, this realm, to overthrow the dragon lineages of Lyra and the Syrian origin, and to impose lion-based imperial rule. That's why you see so many pictures of the lion. Brothers and sisters, oh, we're Judah. We're Judah. No, you're not. No, you're not. You contain that ancient dragon blood, the ancient dragon bloodline. And you running around here talking about we the children of Israel. All them thousands of brothers walking around with these purple outfits on.
That's why they say they're from Africa. You're not from Africa. The Moors, we gave them Africa. And the Moors ain't from Africa. The Moors are from Mars, which is Mars. Okay, we at one point we allowed them to stay here because they were fighting against the same thing we were fighting against. But they jumped on their side and befriended us. And then got jealous and made a deal with them and said, yo, we'll help y'all. We'll help y'all, bro. Y'all, you know what? Y'all did do some things next to our people. And we start to accept these people who became reptilian shapeshifters. And you know what? They are family. So we will work with y'all to go ahead and get against those. But we want their riches. We want Virginia. We want Florida. We want Mississippi. We want Alabama. They want what they want, the land. Why? Because of the riches. Come on, bro. Because what was so-called America? Atlantis, Atlantia, Tartaria, Temeria, the key. Why was it the key? Because the key, the source, the code was right here. Who's that? That's us. So they wanted to harvest what was in us. They tried to do it by force. They figure they can conquer us and then take our place, act like they was us. That's why they want to take your place. Act like they you and put you down low and be up high. Right? Like they tell you in the books that they was going to do. Just like their daddy instructed them to do. And then they turn around and think they're going to get your power, but they can't get your power. That's why they feeling now. They trying to figure out what's going on. Why? Y'all stop going to church. Y'all stop being religions. Y'all stop realizing who you really are and what you really are. And that's why this is the song, because now you realize that, hold on, I'm looking for source, but really source is in this body, and I'm not really this body because this is the matrix. I'm source. So hold on. So when the scriptures tell me when I look at another man, which means woman too, all right, so because you ain't supposed to put us all as one, but they, they put it that way on purpose. All right, and to our people, you're looking at who? They put the G word, but that was on purpose to trick you for pegging. You're looking at source. So hold on. So that means this is another me, which means that we are collective, which means that there's only one. That means we're not really even here. We're operating on the outside of this, and this isn't real. So as long as we're operating on the inside, but really on the outside of this is a game that we've won many times, and it's the last time because we're going to win it forever. This is it. It's the full breakdown of the game where they just have no other resources to run the game back. There's no restarts. There's no start overs. There's no memory card to save it. We got all the cards. We got all the chips. We got everything. They have nothing. They're falling. Because you put the source code in, because you are the key and you are the source. And they wanted to harness your energy, harness your melanin, harness your key, harness your code to the outside galaxy where they can't go, what they call the habitable zone, and say nobody can live there and go there because they try to kill them. No, we can go there. Y'all can't go there. And we're the things that's trying to kill y'all when y'all tried to come there. That's our highest selves. The light balls, the energy balls that can turn into anything they want to. Come on now. And we trying to fix this vacation. We got many mansions, vacation homes, planets that we made, that we want a vacation in. There's a lot of people out there that want a vacation, but they don't come here long as it's like this. We fixing it. And we getting out here because we got tricked to come here because we got trapped in this thing. And now, of course, we fully woken up because the ancestors out there, all right, the light balls that are all part of the great light ball, as you want to call it, so to speak, sources, all right, knew that all the other sources would wake up because they made sure the best source codes were there. And now we woke it up, and that's why they fallen. We are not from Africa now. See, this is why these religions always say Africa, Africa, Africa. We ain't from Africa. Did we own Africa? Yeah, we did. There were some people who were not exactly ones from America, but were over there in Africa that decided to give that land up so that the Africans, who were Moors, could have it because they were under threat of Tamu and also the Archons. And well, the Archons are also the bad side of Anunnaki because they have certain names in there too, to be honest. But they teamed up against them and they folded and they turned on us. This battle was happening. This was a galactic war for a long time. We were all defending every planet, all around. But once they teamed up, then they were able to take all the planets down. And every time we have finally rose and got rid of them, 3 different times, by the way, probably more, 3 that we know of. All right, they came back stronger. This is how we got defeated, because they came back stronger with a greater plan. The last plan was use a vibration war, and that shit worked. That's why they talking about, oh, they marched around the city and the city collapsed, and talking about the folks inside were pagan. No, they wasn't pagan. They lied to you. That was us in the city. They used harmonics to make all our buildings, all our cities. They didn't collapse. They suck right into the sand like quicksand. Because if you do the right vibration, you can make dirt, you can make solid stuff turn to almost liquid water, and everything that is heavier than water will go down, way down. So our buildings are wet underneath our feet. The ones that do stand, they made it to Catholic churches, and even those got underground cities, but they worshiping demons now, and all those Vatican cities and stuff, they don't turn that to fucking cities of dragons. Those are castles. Your castles are now filled with fucking not dragons, cities of vampires. Your castles are now filled with vampires. Vatican City is vampire city, just like all the other Vaticans and all these other things they want to call around and kill them. Not the more now, the city of vampires, but that was your castles. A lot of these big, huge churches that you see in the city, the real big ones, the old style looking ones, the huge ones that been there since you was a little child, that was a castle. They turned it into something else. They had bells on them. They got rid of all the bells. Oh, quickly off subject. I'm gonna call you today. I'm gonna call you today, y'all. I'm supposed to call today. I will call y'all today. Let me get to it. All right, let me keep on doing this. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, here I go. Wrong button. I'll break too many things later.
Role playing something that they're not. Minds have been infiltrated by the Yahweh system, not knowing that you're part of the dragon bloodline, where we literally link into every element, every resource, every energy, every force, every power that the planet and the cosmos can give. You understand what's going on, okay? So as original beings, we literally are dragons in what they would call a human form, all right? We carry the fire of the cosmos, all right? a living, multi-dimensional power that predates these imperialistic systems. Okay? Our essence comes from Lyra, Sirius, and the galactic core. Okay? We carry that dragon energy within us. All right? We carry that dragon energy, the Kundalini. All right? This is who we are.
Kundalini energy is female and male energy, spiritual energy, combined together to make the ultimate power. That's what we are. So females and males, you're not supposed to rule over your woman. She can rule over you. You're supposed to work together. It's a team effort. Just like when we had our government and how we set on it before it was a physical thing, but it was only a spiritual thing, we still had it where nobody ruled over anybody. We all govern ourselves. All this chain of command and all that stuff, that did not exist. That happened after we fell and things became physical. Why? Because we had to have order. But even then, it wasn't even all like that. Until we started fighting amongst each other, and then it started becoming more like that. And that's when everything fell apart. That was also the start of our demise. And if you don't know who started the tow between us, you can research that and you'll find out our own people didn't start tow between us. There was outsiders who started tow between us and make sure they looked from the outside in and watched it go down. And when we was beating each other up, they decided to come in and clean up the mess. Pick the leftovers, pick the bones, sitting ducks, worn out and tired. They always divide and conquer.
That's why so many of us want to wear locks, because the locks represents the force of the dragon within us. Some of us don't even know. They just want to wear it because they think it's a style, but it's actually the most inner part of us saying, hey, we got to build ourselves. The dragon in form is a symbol of the Kundalini energy. All right, so we as the original beings, so-called African Americans, not the mixed individuals. So, I hate to say it, but those who are mixed, you're mixed. It's what you are. You're just mixed. You have a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but you don't carry that Kundalini. I'm sorry, you're not original.
That's true. However, there's one good thing, because you are mixed. Depending on how much of us you have in you, you may have some abilities. I'm not going to sit there and say that you're going to make it. I don't know. The cards going to have to fall where they may. I ain't racist or prejudiced. I just love my people. And I know what certain things say. I know we put the judgment a long time ago. But I do understand, as many of our teachers have pointed out, that there are folks who are on our side and are actually going to join our side. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. That's all I can say. We'll leave that alone. We'll see.
It may seem that you have something, and there's something passed on you, but those who are mixed, you contain that Neanderthal and that dragon, which is not a balance. Mm-hmm. It's not balanced at all. We carry the dragon energy, the Kundalini, the elemental mastery of and cosmic memory. When you talk about elemental mastery, you talk about we master all the elements. We contain all of the elements within our vessels. Okay, and we have the ability to interface with ley lines, stargates, crystal networks, and this is what the dragon represents, and we carry that. But this whole Yahweh system, which is this religious sector, wants to keep that energy down. Tell us the Kundalini is evil. Tell us that, only thing that we need to know is about Jesus and God, the Holy Spirit. If you go into Islam, they tell you the only thing you need to know is about Allah. and Muhammad. You go into the Jehovah's Witness, all you need to know is about Jehovah.
This is also females and males, why they try to keep females and males, our sisters and brothers, away from each other. They don't want you to be working, you and your female counterpart to work out. Females, they don't want you and your male counterpart to work out. They designed the split in the family. It was all by design. A lot of sayings that you hear brothers and sisters saying now, a lot of brothers say something now because they hurt from stuff that women did to them. But some of the things they do say came from somebody else who was pushing that shit, and they fed right into it. They shouldn't have. Same thing with the sisters. Some of y'all fed into the bullshit that they put out there, and some of y'all on there saying the bullshit y'all should be saying, and actually think the way y'all think. That's why there's a split. All right, and that's on both sides. They did the split because the female has the female part of source. The male has the male part of source. When you put them two together and they're working out like the first government, which is the only government that was supposed to exist in the first place, guess what? You got a power you can't stop because it becomes cooling energy. As long as they work together. That's why it's supposed to be a partnership, a team. But if any side of that team is going to become narcissistic, rulership, not a partnership. Yeah, I understand women's got to be led, but also y'all got to work together. And the female, you got to be willing to be led. Because it ain't going to work if you ain't willing. Can't nobody force you to do something that deep down in your heart you don't really want to do. No matter what you say you're going to do, it matters what you want to do. Same thing with men, all right, when it comes to things I said. All right, but they separated this, our people on purpose, female and male side, to stop the cooling energy. And what do you see now on a lot of people that's waking up to who they are? And they finally got into spiritualism, but not understanding it, and then treat it like religion instead of treating it like part of who you are. And that's what you're supposed to treat it like. Part of your powers, right? They want to rule over their counterpart, male and female, and that's wrong. That's not how you can't get something by trying to force something or rule over something. That is something that was put here by an outside source that is not supposed to be here. That's why I tell people it's not a partnership, then jump off the ship, because it's not your ship. You want a sinking ship. Now, for this cool energy, for our brothers and sisters, we're going to have to start working together. Partnerships. Because so far as our families, and even still to this day, there's nothing more but a sinking ship. Their ship is sinking. We know that. We designed the sink to happen. It's happening. The fall is happening. We designed the fall to happen. The fall is happening. Decide what they do. They can try to make it their own stuff to where they try to make it fall. So they can try to orchestrate the fall, but it's not going to work. We already see that's what they try to do. It's time for us to rise, not sink like a sinking ship. Because when those powers are together, we are unstoppable. That's why in the dreams, when we're having dreams about that, some of them were the superheroes, but they had a male partner superhero. Because combined, we can't be stopped. Together we stand, divided we fall. The minute you think I don't need a woman, the minute you think I don't need a man, you may be in trouble.
Over not knowing that Jehovah is Yahweh. Yahweh is Allah. Allah is Yehuda. You know, you see how that all. That's why they say this God has many names, but we are those dragon beings, and we are here in this physical, this human form. All right, our we incarnate in this human form that allows the dragons to rewrite the physical reality. All right, to anchor the energy into earth and co-create worlds. Our human form is a mask, but the soul remembers and radiates the original cosmic power. We have infinite powers: telepathy, energy manipulation, shape-shifting, inner and astral. We can travel through different dimensions. We have the ability for multidimensional travel. All right. We have a connection to crystals, ley lines, sacred geometry, stargates. All right. Spiritual immortality, memory of countless lifetimes, battles, and creations. And this is who we are. And this is why this whole religious sector, which is Yahweh's war against us, tells us that all this stuff is evil. All right? All this stuff is evil. That's what they want to tell us. This is an imperial lion from the Chinese system. You have to understand that the Chinese were created by these beings, okay? Mm-hmm. And they show true imperialism, okay? Imperialistic system is all about fear and suppression, all right? Yahweh, all right, the Orient factors and their earth agents attempt to limit our access to our true powers. Methods include religion, hierarchy, fear, false symbols, lions versus dragon, okay? Control over knowledge, ancient knowledge of crystals, ley lines, portals, cosmic law is suppressed. Humanity is kept in ignorance of its own cosmic potential. Energy extraction is all about this system here, okay? The whole ordeal is through this imperial system. They feed off of human fear, obedience, all right? So keeping the dragon beings, us, the original beings, from reclaiming our full sovereignty, they use this system called the law, all right? We're not powerless. The suppression is external. Remember that. The dragon energy is an innate, external, multidimensional force. You know, like we said, the dragon energy is innate. You know, it's external, it's multidimensional, it's internal as well. Every awakening, memory recall, or activation of Kundalini, crystal connection pieces, the imperial veil. It pierces the imperial veil. I said pieces. It pierces the imperial veil and restores sovereignty. So every time we go deep within ourselves and our memories to who we are, this literally pierces this imperial system that we're dealing with. All right. The Lion Empire can control the surface narrative, but the dragon fire continues to burn underneath. We have to understand this, that we're dealing with energies, powers, forces that are within us that we can destroy this entire system. It doesn't take all of us. It takes just a vast majority of us, not even a majority, it can take a minority of us. They need us to fear their police officers, their judges, their rules, their everything. You know, they need us to go into this money thing. This is why we are moving into this higher phase. You're learning about sigils, learning about ley lines, learning about crystal grids. You learn about tapping into yourself, your chi exercise, your chi energy. All this, as you go deeper within yourself, you destroy this Yahweh lion, this imperialistic system, the lion was designed to replace the dragon. Like I said, all those brothers and sisters running around talking about we're the Lion of Judah and all that. Dude, y'all traitors. Y'all traitors. And when it comes time for war, guess what? The traitors must go right along with the invaders. There's no line drawn. The traitors are going to roll right along with the invaders. So y'all better straighten y'all act up, because I'm telling y'all.
This is why they teach y'all all these other nationalities supposed to be part of our people. No, they're not. They're not. They're not. We're not created. They were created. We manifested because somebody inverted the shit, and we manifested was to change things back the way they're supposed to be. Fix what was once was instead of what is. Because it's all messed up right now. But it's going back. Don't worry, it's all going back because this is falling apart on purpose. So everybody got to get their shit together. That's what I'm gonna say. Big time.
We coming after y'all. Remember that. We coming.
Quit playing with us, fuck. It's like we done forgot what copper was. Come on, man. I see pale faces on here putting pennies to their face with a little filter talking about, oh, I'm copper, and they try and prove they indigenous and tell us where we come from. Who is y'all to tell us where we come from? If we're from there, then take us back. Tell them to take us back. Why ain't they grabbed none of my people yet and took us to where y'all say we came from? If we're nothing but Africans that came on boats and we were shitting, pissing on each other, and we're descendants of slaves and people that was chained up and nothing else, prove it. Why when we leave the country, everybody look at us and want to take pictures, and then they seem mesmerized because what do they know about us that we don't? Motherfucking so many ethnicities in America made us feel so down about ourselves, folks. And y'all time is coming. Our copper gonna keep shining. Our bronze is gonna keep shining. Our gold and our melanin is gonna keep shining. As you can see. Everybody going around screaming, oh, I'm blackity black, black. I'm proud to be black, 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 black. Nah, you're copper, you're bronze, you're golden, deeply melanated. So everyone you're down. Why every single nationality in America try to make me feel down about my race and say we got no culture because they want your land? You know every single country's in on this big secret that you don't come from America? You know how powerful you really is? And this shit gets so sad and emotional when you think about it, bro, because you don't really know what they did to us, bro. You don't really know what they did to us. If we really came from these boats and these slaves, show us the pictures of the boats. No AI, no color books, no none of that, bro. Show me these pictures and show me these names. Show my people this proof. We need the proof. We haven't seen no proof yet. But I do have pictures of people coming over here to take over this land. Nigga. And if you want to debate about it, we could debate. I have multiple pictures of your people coming over here to take over our land. But there's no pictures of us. But it's cool. Keep showing how much y'all hate us. We love to see it. The sun going to keep rising. And it's going to keep getting hotter. And it's going to keep busting y'all ass. The animals is going to get on y'all ass. We're going to get on y'all ass. Nature's going to get on y'all ass. I don't know who y'all think y'all are, so just learn some in school and run with it and then just think what the fuck they told y'all is true. The government lie about everything until it comes to this motherfucking out of Africa story. Let's be 100. They ain't lying when it comes to this Africa story, but when it's everything else, they're the biggest liars and they're not to be trusted. I'm so confused. Bro, let's be 100. We know who he is. We copper. I'll show you.
So I hope this will give you guys some type of indication of the war that we have endured. You remember all of these inorganic beings that were walking around here were created in laboratories. That's why they don't have any ancestors. They have forefathers. They have forefathers, but they don't have ancestors. They were all created in laboratories. And from the laboratory, there is no external memory. There's no memory. There are no grandparents to give them memory. They had no umbilical cord. They had no, there's no reincarnation. There's no cycle. You're talking about the whites. You're talking about the Mexicans. You're talking about the Asians. You're talking about the Mongolians, which are the what you call Native Americans. Your Russians, your people over in France and Italy, and all these beings down in Australia. All of them are part of this Yahweh imperialistic system. Okay, even Yahweh himself made sure that he created these beings in his image. Who did he create in his image? Our enemies, not us, because we were birthed by the planet. This is all about Yahweh. Learn something new, brothers and sisters. All y'all running around talking about the Lion of Judah and Yahweh and all this. This is your enemy. This is your enemy. This is he who invaded our planet. Okay? Let me give y'all some biblical stuff. What it says. Judah symbolizes the great lion. Symbolized by the great lion. All right? That's Genesis 49. Yahweh becomes the lion of authority and the slayers of dragons. Isaiah 27. Okay, the covenant shifts royalty from serpent wisdom to lion kingship. You see what we're dealing with? All right. Then you have these kings that claim divine right by defeating the serpents. That's why you have so many movies about slaying dragons. All right. And Greek Zeus defeats Typhon, a fallen kills the python. All right. You understand what's going on. Understand. All right. In Revelations 12 and 20, it says, cast the dragon as the ancient serpent, the devil. This seals the demonization of the serpent. All right. Christ is called the Lion of Judah. You understand that? Roman emperors adopt lion emblems for dominion. The Christian church.
In other words, this enemy that y'all be calling on, the ones who be calling on, he demonized you. And that's why they said, oh, that old serpent must be mad. He's talking about you. Why was you mad? Because they took your land. That's when he started making more beings in the Garden of Eden that he put on planet Earth. Because he put it on planet Earth to make more beings. It was a laboratory to make these people in their petri dish, using all types of animals and a drop of his blood. Come on, y'all.
Church embraces the lion as the protection of order. Do y'all understand this whole Yahweh, Jehovah, God, Allah, Yehuda? All this is literally the enemy's way of saying we conquered y'all and we got y'all motherfuckers. That's what it's saying. All right. This is all about Yahweh. Y'all better
learn something. All right, now I'm gonna show y'all. Because we was here before it even, because y'all gotta stop saying Africa. Y'all need to stop that saying that shit. We was here before all that old mess. Now what they did was they wrote y'all, wrote us. They literally wrote you out of history. But the scientists found out
Nay is confirming it.
That a lot of y'all given when y'all was younger. You know what they found out from y'all blood samples when y'all was younger that they didn't tell your parents? They all kept it to themselves. In fact, it was brushed underneath the rug. That your ancestral goes way back to the first so-called. They want to use the word human. That's what we know. That's all bullshit. We'll use the word their word for entertainment. The very first human that ever existed on the earth, that all of our blood goes way back to that. And then furthermore, it goes further back than her. Huh? Say what? In other words, it goes so far deep way into the cosmos to the very thing which is source, because you are. Huh? And this is why they want to extract your melanin. This is why they want your blood. This is why they want you to take tests. Oh, come take a test. All these companies come take a test. We can tell you what your lineage is. That's not. You need to talk to your grandma. Go talk to your grandparents. Go talk to your great uncle. Go talk to somebody who knows. Go talk to your cousin who know what I'm saying, who know about the truth. Go watch some channels that's telling you about who were the real so-called Indians? Who was the real people that was here in this land? And before all that, all over Earth, and before that was this before the Earth even existed, and made all the planets. Talk to somebody who know the truth.
Simply descendants of Africans. They are also descendants of native tribes that were deliberately renamed and erased on paper. They did not disappear. They were hidden. Now, if this suppression feels familiar, it is because it is part of a larger pattern. Attempts to erase Black identity did not end with slavery or the Dawes rolls. They extended into science.
Hold on, y'all. I don't know why it's doing that to you, but they're trying to stop it again. That's what's happening. Hold on, I got y'all. They get mad. The little fellas is hurt. The little fellas is hurt. All right. They don't like when somebody points out the truth, huh? Hurt the little felons.
From the time you entered a classroom, the history laid out before you was meant to be simple, shallow, and unquestioned. It taught you that your story began in chains. You were told your ancestors were stolen from West Africa, shipped like cargo across the Atlantic, and dropped into the brutal American plantation system. That was it. No past, no legacy, no deeper roots. Just a beginning in slavery and a legacy of survival. But what if that's only part of the truth? Or worse, what if that was a carefully constructed myth? For decades, whispers circulated among historians, anthropologists, and even within Black families' oral traditions. We were here before the boats. It sounded outrageous, almost impossible, at least when measured against what textbooks insisted. Until DNA spoke. A genetic study buried for years, shielded from the public eye, revealed something explosive. Black Americans are not merely the descendants of enslaved Africans. They are deeply tied to ancient Native American populations, with evidence that people of African ancestry were present in the Americas thousands of years before Columbus ever set sail. So the question is, who buried this study? Why was it hidden? And what are they so afraid of you discovering? In this video, let's find out. For generations, American classrooms opened the story of Black existence in America with the year 1619. Textbooks pointed to that date as the origin of a people, the beginning of a lineage, and the root of an identity. In this version, history begins on ships sailing from West Africa, filled with enslaved men and women shackled in chains. Those ships dock in Virginia, and from that moment forward, the story is framed as nothing more than captivity, labor, and struggle. No deeper roots are mentioned, no acknowledgement of civilizations before slavery, no recognition of sovereignty or culture beyond survival. By design, this script collapses an entire people's memory into a single traumatic entry point: bondage. But here lies the problem. This narrative was not an accident of omission. It was crafted with intention. If the story begins with slavery, then freedom appears as something granted by others, rather than something inherently owned. If identity is rooted only in chains, then sovereignty disappears. And if sovereignty is erased, then an entire people can be redefined not as nations, not as inheritors of history, but as dependents, perpetual wards of a state that positions itself as their liberator. This wasn't oversight. It was a strategy of power. A strategy written into census categories, reinforced by school curricula, and protected by political systems. In this version of history, Black Americans had no prior existence, no ancestral claim to the land, no complexity beyond suffering. Their past was flattened into a story that began in chains and ended in dependency. But science, the one witness that cannot be bribed, eventually began to whisper otherwise. Unlike textbooks, DNA is not written by the victors. It doesn't bend to politics or wait for permission to speak. It sits quietly in every cell of the body, carrying the memory of generations until technology advances enough to read it. And when genetic research finally began to decode this memory, the results were explosive. Scientists rely on two major markers to trace ancestry. The Y chromosome, passed from father to son, follows the paternal line across time. The mitochondrial DNA, passed from mother to child, follows the maternal line back thousands of years. Together, these markers function like a breadcrumb trail across history, revealing migrations, connections, and forgotten identities. But here is where things became disturbing. When these trails led to conclusions that contradicted the official story, they were not embraced as breakthroughs. They were buried. Studies that uncovered African genetic markers in ancient Native American remains were not celebrated. They were dismissed as contamination. When data suggested African presence in the Americas long before 1619, funding mysteriously disappeared. Journals refused to publish results. Researchers were sidelined or discredited, yet the evidence remained. Haplogroups such as E1b1a, dominant among West and Central African males, appeared in remains found in North America that predated Columbus by centuries. According to the dominant narrative, that should have been impossible. If Africans only arrived in chains after 1619, then why were their genetic footprints present in skeletons buried thousands of years earlier? The answer was clear and damning. Black presence in the Americas did not begin with slavery. It predated Columbus. It predated European colonization. And DNA, the silent witness, had exposed a truth powerful enough to shake the very foundations of American history. But DNA is only one part of the story. The other weapon used to erase Black Americans' origins was not biology, but bureaucracy. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, the United States government engaged in racial reclassification. Native tribes along the Southeast and the Mississippi Valley, like the Yamasee, the Watita, the Eastern Blackfoot, the Lumbee, and even branches of the Choctaw and Cherokee, were systematically reclassified. Census takers and government agents recorded them not as Native, but as colored or Black. This reclassification was not a minor clerical error. It carried devastating consequences. By stripping people of their official tribal identity, the government erased not only heritage, but land rights. Entire communities were erased on paper, even while they continued to exist in reality. The Dawes Act of 1887 deepened this process. It promised land allotments to Native Americans, but only to those recognized as Indian by federal rolls. If your skin was dark, even if your family spoke the tribal language and lived on ancestral land, you were often excluded. Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there, but yes. Oh no, actually I'm gonna keep going.
Africa. Let's continue now. You were recategorized as Black, and your claim to land was erased. Overnight, families lost sovereignty, and tribes lost their legal existence. This reclassification explains why so many Black families in America have oral histories of Native ancestry, yet no documentation to support it. Grandmothers whispered it. Oral traditions preserved it. And now DNA is confirming it. The truth is, many Black Americans are not simply descendants of Africans. They are also descendants of Native tribes that were deliberately renamed and erased on paper. They did not disappear. They were hidden. Now, if this suppression feels familiar, it is because it is part of a larger pattern. Attempts to erase Black identity did not end with slavery or the Dawes rolls. They extended into science, archaeology, and anthropology. Consider Cheikh Anta Diop, the Senegalese historian who, in the 1960s, used melanin tests and biological analysis to prove that ancient Egyptians were Black Africans. His findings dismantled the Eurocentric fantasy of a white Egypt. But instead of celebration, Diop's work was censored, discredited, and even banned from academic journals. Why? Acknowledging Egypt as black would undermine centuries of colonial ideology that placed Europe as the cradle of civilization. Fast forward to the 2000s. A Midwestern University study revealed African haplogroups in pre-Columbian Native American skeletons. Rather than rewriting the textbooks, the study was quietly shelved. A whistleblower later confessed, "We weren't supposed to find that. When we did, they told us to rerun the data or discard it. I knew then that science wasn't neutral, it was political." Even the Smithsonian Institution, after conducting reviews of ancient remains, found African markers in skeletons from North and South America. But instead of publishing openly, the findings were hidden. Researchers who pushed for transparency were removed. Reports disappeared into silence. Why? Because if Black Americans were already indigenous to the Americas, the consequences would be catastrophic for the existing power structure. Land ownership, sovereignty, and even reparations would have to be reconsidered. The very foundations of U.S. history would collapse under its own lies. And DNA has revealed even more surprises. Many Black Americans who take commercial ancestry tests find not only West African lineages, but also Native American, North African, Semitic, and Moorish bloodlines. Some discover 20 to 30% Native ancestry, far too significant to be dismissed as anomalies. Others find genetic ties to Morocco, Yemen, or Israel, pointing to global migrations long before Columbus. Historians such as Ivan van Sertima documented how the Moors and Malians were expert navigators. They crossed seas, mapped stars, and built ships long before Europeans dared to leave their coasts. According to historical accounts, Emperor Abu Bakr II of Mali sent a fleet of hundreds of ships westward across the Atlantic in the 14th century, nearly 200 years before Columbus. If even part of that expedition reached the Americas, then African explorers left their genetic footprint long before colonization. This global interconnectedness reframes Black American identity. It is not small. It is not confined to slavery. It is not defined only by pain. It is African, indigenous, Moorish, and global. It is a lineage of explorers, navigators, builders, and sovereigns. It is royal. And here lies the danger. These revelations are not merely academic curiosities. They carry political weight. If Black Americans can prove indigenous lineage through DNA, then the implications extend beyond history into law and sovereignty. It would reopen claims to millions of acres of land seized. Reparations would shift from financial compensation to land restoration. The U.S. government's racial categories, like Black, white, Native, would crumble under the weight of genetic truth. The label African American itself might be revealed as a tool of erasure, reducing a complex multi-layered identity into a single box that obscures indigenous and global roots. And perhaps the most dangerous truth of all is this: Black Americans were never a people without history. They were not lost. They were hidden. Bloodlines prove survival through centuries of suppression, and their DNA is now blowing the cover off the greatest story never told. So what does all of this mean? It means the history we were taught is far too small. It means Black Americans' origins are not only in West Africa, but also in ancient America, in Moorish navigation, in global migrations, and in empires erased from textbooks. It means slavery was not the beginning. It was an interruption. DNA does not lie. People do. And for centuries, people in power worked to bury the truth that Black Americans are not simply descendants of Africans stolen across the ocean, but also heirs of indigenous tribes reclassified on paper, navigators who sailed before Columbus, and inheritors of global civilizations. This is not about rejecting Africa. It is about reclaiming wholeness. Africa is home. America is home. The seas are home. The sky is home. Black Americans were never simply brought here. They were here. They built here. And their blood remembers. The question now is not whether this truth exists. It does. The question is whether it will be reclaimed. Will Black Americans accept the history they were given, the small, truncated version designed by conquerors? Or will they embrace the fuller story, one of empires, sovereignty, and presence that predates chains? Your blood remembers, and once you remember, they can never bury it again. What do you think? Could hidden genetic records prove Black Americans are not who history books claim they are? Is it possible that DNA evidence proves slavery wasn't the beginning, but a deliberate erasure? In the comment section below, share your thoughts on whether the genetic trail reveals Black people's ties to civilizations greater than Greece, Rome, or even Egypt. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We bring videos on Black Africa, its history, rich arts.
All right, so there we go. Everybody needs to stop claiming that you Hebrew, that you this, and that you that. Stop calling yourself the enemy. Y'all constantly say, fuck Mr. J, but then y'all be praying to him in different names. I gotta stop doing that. Peace and love, family. So that's it for today. I actually got videos of us Black Indians dancing around and everything. That's right. With riches and gold. When we dancing all around. Old videos in black and white of our cameras. They didn't have technology like that when they first got here. We taught them. We shouldn't have taught them nothing. We taught them. Oh my goodness. Anyways, peace and love. Peace and love.